So it didn't matter that Jonathan Majors is on film running away from this person. It didn't matter that we had testimony from a driver, the only person witnessing them in the car, a driver not hired by Jonathan Majors or Miss Jabari, by the way, testifying that she did everything and he did nothing. Didn't matter that we had video of course, as you're showing right now, Jonathan Majors running through Manhattan away from this person. Didn't matter that he called the cops in fear that she might commit suicide. None of that matters, apparently. There's no evidence that matters. Regardless of what the evidence is, women apparently can never be wrong in any situation. So
And so here we go again. Welcome back to the Dark Times channel. And so as you all know, Jonathan Majors was convicted of 1 misdemeanor assault charge and 1 harassment violation stemming from a March altercation with 30-year-old Grace Jabari. And so I wasn't shocked, but at the same time I was, because we've never seen anything quite like this. We've never seen a case in which the alleged aggressor had to run away from his accuser to de-escalate the situation like Mr. Jonathan Majors did. And not only did he run away from his ex, Jabari, he let her stay in his $1 million penthouse while he booked a hotel across town, just to make sure that cooler heads would prevail. And then he came back to his $1 million penthouse the next day, in which he had to call 911 because she tried to OD on pills. Right after he broke it off, she tried to OD on some pills, and so he was forced to call 911. And so when a lot of people heard that, they thought it was a slam dunk. They thought this is an open and shut case. Almost anybody you talk to, nobody actually thought that they were going to come back with a verdict like this. But when I actually got a chance to hear just how insidious the judge was in this case, I understood.
You know, they haven't, in their statement, there was something, a line in there about how he plans to clear his name, which sort of sounded like to me that they would try to appeal or take some action. And it wouldn't surprise me if they did, because there were several things about the way the case was presented that I think are appealable. The judge would not allow a police detective who had processed Jabari's arrest to speak very much. All of his testimony was effectively objected to. The judge would not allow the jury to hear the body cam audio, so you could see the video but not the audio. Nobody could figure out why that was the case. And I think the jury was frankly unaware of some things that they should have been aware of, and probably will be made aware of when they see, on TV tonight, but during the trial as presented was not aware of. So I do think that there is likely to be an appeal.
And so after I heard that the judge pulled a Kyle Rittenhouse move on this particular case, I understood. Because we never had a situation, at least to my knowledge, in which an arresting officer was not allowed to testify in court and give his full sworn testimony in the events in which took place. And then on top of that, his body cam wasn't allowed, or at least his body cam was allowed, but you weren't allowed to hear audio of what she was saying on the body cam. I've never heard of a case like that. Think about that. The arresting officer was not allowed to give sworn testimony. And the taxi cab driver that was hired by both of them was not allowed to give testimony on how Jabari was whipping his ass in that taxi, and she was acting like a wild beast, according to testimony. None of that was allowed in court, but they did allow this.
I would like to get to the point where your friends know what job I'm on and go, I think Grace is gonna be out of commission. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I won't.
No, do you understand that? Because that team, that unit, right? Grace has to be in a certain mindset to support Coretta Scott King. You know who that is? That's Martin Luther King's wife. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama's wife.
I know, I'm not. I shouldn't have gone out. I'm
No,
sorry.
let me just lay it out for you, right? If I'm just gonna say this. My temper, my shit, my trauma, blah, all that said, right? And I'm not saying I'm a great man. A great man. I am doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and for the world. That is actually the position I'm in. That's real. I'm not being a dick about it. I didn't ask for it. I've worked, and that's the situation. The woman that supports me, that I support, that needs to be a great woman and make sacrifices the way that man is making for her and for them ultimately. Last night, 2 nights ago, you did not do that. You did not do that.
I'm sorry.
Which took away from the plan. And the plan is everything. If it was just you in the house drunk, maybe I could have swallowed it. Or I would have felt bold enough like, oh, hey, let's just go to bed. Which I said, I'm just going to go to bed. I'm not hungry, blah, blah, blah. Because Grace isn't here. Why? She was drunk. Why else? She was clogged by whatever was going on. You know what I mean? Fine, I can take that. Fine.
And so an assertive black man, and probably somewhat narcissistic to some degree, like most individuals within Hollywood are, telling a so-called white woman his expectations is somehow threatening? Is that what they were trying to say? And like I said, that was a wild analogy that Jonathan Major used, comparing his girlfriend Jabari to Coretta Scott King. As crazy of an analogy as that was, that didn't deserve to be played in court because it had absolutely nothing to do with what happened in that taxi cab. And so what this was really about, it was about sending a message that most of us already got, a message that most of us already know. But if you don't know, you damn sure know now. Message received. No relationship with a so-called black man and a white woman is consensual in the eyes of the law. And it never has been. Even when we got hardcore evidence, even when we got testimony from the police and other eyewitnesses, even when we got you on tape, running like Forrest Gump, trying to get away, that's not good enough. You're talking to a man that was literally running for his career. That's exactly what he was doing. He was running for his career. He knew what time it was, and they still got him. He did everything right to try to de-escalate the situation, to try to get out of that predicament. He did everything right, everything that you would probably ask your son to do. God forbid if he finds himself in a situation like that. And so, like I said, they're letting it be known, playtime's over. And so literally every week, there's another so-called black celebrity / entertainer getting caught up. And we tried to warn some of y'all a year or two ago, back when Bill and Kelly were going through it. This was never about them. This was never about getting justice for people that were allegedly harmed 30 years ago. It was never about that. It was always about getting away with doing it to somebody with money and power. Because if they can do it to them, then that means they can do it to you. And of course, they always throw out a few sacrifices here and there. They'll throw out a Johnny Depp and feed him to the wolves. But at the end of the day, they know good and well, no sane all-white jury is going to convict a Johnny Depp. But they'll convict a Jonathan Majors. They'll convict you. And what's really interesting is I made a video a few months back about how Jonathan Majors was being used. And right before all this went down, I made that video actually.
A few days ago, you were trending on Twitter.
Yep.
Some people didn't like that you were wearing pink and ebony, and they felt like it wasn't masculine enough.
Yeah.
What do you say to those? I mean, I think they're haters. I think it's toxic.
But it's bigger than that. It's love. You know, it's like there's strength and there's vulnerability. A big part of it is kindness, use of power,
Yeah.
gentleness. These are masculine characteristics.
Now to a developing story. Actor Jonathan Majors arrested today, accused of attacking a woman in a New York City apartment.
And Majors was probably at the height of his career, and he was ascending as probably one of the most recognizable black male actors within Hollywood. And then all of a sudden we started seeing him on front covers and all these different magazines, wearing lipstick, dressed in all pink, with his lips pursed out. And something like that doesn't happen by accident. You don't just go from playing this masculine role on Avengers and playing on Creed to dressing up in all pink, pursing your lips out. That doesn't happen by accident, because you would never see a white male actor with the same resume or the same stature of a Jonathan Majors doing a cover like that. Even if they wanted to, there's no way in hell their agent would allow them to do anything like that. That would be inappropriate. Imagine an Arnold Schwarzenegger or a Sylvester Stallone doing a cover like that and then starring in Terminator or Rocky. It doesn't work, because what you do off screen affects how you're viewed on screen. That's just the reality of it. And so last year when I saw Jonathan Majors out here being paraded around, I saw the writing on the wall. I already knew what time it was. They were about to chew him up and spit him out. Because once you do that, there's really no coming back from that. So as unfortunate as it is for Mr. Majors, he had it coming. And so I'm indifferent, because as an educated 34-year-old so-called black man, he should have known better. He played himself. And so I'm sure he'll probably get this overturned, just based on the evidence that was left out and the evidence that the jury was not allowed to hear for whatever reason. I'm sure when it goes to appeals, I'm sure it'll be overturned, but it's too late. And so the damage is already done. There's already a stain on his name, and he'll be lucky if he gets a role in the next Tyler Perry movie. But let me know what y'all think about this one. Let me know how y'all feel in the comment section. And as usual, peace and chaos.